Hello and welcome to a tutorial on Swindles. My old tutorial was apparently lacking. I mean, I get it, this module is very hard to understand. Even I, as recording this, have been making multiple attempts because I keep forgetting something each time, something very minor. So I had to spend a lot of time just like relearning the module, exactly how it works. So, to begin with, you're just gonna do what I say. Press the middle 6 times, and then the blue button. Now we just inputted, 2 seconds. We have just inputted 6 blacks into the module, and it gives us an output. This output is what we're going to be putting everywhere else, under all these things. The input is what we input into the module. The output is what the module gives back. The XOR is the input and output XOR together. The filter, I will take a sec. I'll explain in a little second, but basically, I'll just explain now. Basically, so we have our current input, and then we're gonna do something with that, and that's gonna give us the answer. So our current input is what we're inputting. Right now, we don't actually know what this is. We don't know what our current input is. However, that does not matter. And this question mark here is the filter, and this is going to be XOR'd, like this. So how can we deduce what the answer is from this? Well, the module works like Mastermind. You give an input, it tells you what correct positions you have. It doesn't tell you how many correct colors, it just tells you if your color is correct. Like if that position has the correct answer. So we don't know what our current input is. However, that does not matter because we have the filter. Let's say that it works kind of like a Caesar cipher. Just trust me here, because this is an encryption, which is basically what this module is. Let's say our input is just all reds. When we get an output down here, if one of them happened to be cyan, which is the opposite of red, we know it must be a correct position because he says after the input, finally he inverts any correct position. So after we've done our magic, if we get an inverted position from what we expect, which we get from the constant to check, which I'll explain, we know that's a correct position. Or an incorrection in our constant. We don't know that, however, we can just fix that if it should be the case. So, how can we get the answer if we don't know what our input is? Well, think of it like the Caesar cipher. I have all reds, and then we go down here, this isn't the correct thing. It says everything here is wrong. So then I'm going to try a new filter by adding 1 to the shift in this metaphor. This would be like XORing our filter with a different color. So each of these could be represented by a value in the Caesar cipher. So let's say our filter is all reds right now. All reds. That's not correct. Nothing is different from what we expected. Then let's try all greens. And then, whoops, one of these are different from what we expected. We know it's inverted, so it's correct. And then we stop filtering this character because we know what its shift is. It was green, and so on. And then we're going to do that for all of the colors until we have the filter. So, using something we don't know, and then we XORing the filter, because the module knows the answer and will tell us if it's the answer, we can deduce the correct answer from that. That does sound very confusing, however, I promise you, when you get into it, it's just doing a bunch of logic. It's not that bad. It's confusing because your notes will end up looking like this, which are painful to decipher. However, it's not that bad. So, the first time we're not going to filter anything because we don't actually... The module has just generated information and we can't really check anything unless we check with all blacks first. So to start with, we're going to do nothing. Then on the input, it says here, then it takes the end module 6th position. This is incorrect. Just take the first if it's the first query, second if the second query, and so on. Looping around. Yes, I am saying query. I'm not going to change that. So, take the first one. That's black. There's no red, there's no green, there's no blue, so we're going to reverse the other half, invert the other half, and cycle right 1. Under here, the answer. So reverse the other half, that mirrors, so it's basically the same. Then we're going to invert it, so cyan, white, cyan, and then we're going to cycle right once. Put this as our new input, and then we're going to input that into the module. Cyan, white, magenta, red, cyan, white. Then we get green, white, magenta, black, cyan, red. Then we're going to XOR these things, so blue, black, black, red, black, cyan. Take the constant and put it under check, and then use the input like a command and the check like the string, and then use the following. I'm going to do all positional movements like white where we reverse from the string, magenta and cyan where we cycle left or right, or black where we reverse it. Cyan, that tells us to move left once, so we're going to move this thing left once when it wants to let me. Left once. White, we reverse both of the halves. Magenta tells us to move right once. Cyan tells us to move left once. And white tells us to do that. We actually just had to do... We didn't even have to do the white because it canceled out. Well, too late now. But yeah, cyan, then white, then magenta and cyan cancel each other out, and then the two whites cancel out, so all we had to do was move left once. So, it's important that you do the movements from left to right. You can do the other ones in any order you like. So red, invert the red position, so we're gonna XOR all these by red. And then we're gonna put this under this little thing right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, you see how none of these are inverted. As he states down here, finally he inverts any correct position. None of here is inverted. We expected this result, which means that all of our current positions are incorrect, or something in our constant, my hoodie string got wrapped around. That was probably a little bit ear rapey. I'm sorry if it was. But yeah, this means that, right now, nothing is correct. So, since nothing is correct, we know that this filter, or this Caesar cipher shift, is incorrect. And we're going to, instead of having all blacks, we're going to have all reds. So now we're going to XOR all of these with red to get red. So we get magenta, red, red, black, red, white. Put it over to answer. And then we're going to use the second one, which is white. So white is all of them, so red, magenta, green, cyan, left. Then we're going to do this, we would do the same down here with reversing the first half and cycling left. However, since this is, it wouldn't change anything, it's all identical. It will just be extra news. So we do cyan, green, black, red, white, and cyan. I'm gonna carry that. Blue, red, cyan, yellow, magenta, green. Then I'm gonna extend that. So cyan, we're gonna do left, and then we're gonna reverse the entire string. However, neat little thing to know. If there's a black and a white right next to each other, you can just swap the halves. Like this, I just swap the halves. It just works. And then we can cycle left again. And then we have to XOR this by red, so black, cyan, blue, black, black, red. Excuse me. Oh, there's also green. I had to XOR this by green as well. I did not see that. There's a little green right there. So green, blue, cyan, green, green, yellow. Put that down there. And we see the second position and the sixth position don't match. They have been inverted because yellow and blue are opposites, and they don't match. Which means, finally, he inverts any correct position. This means that these two positions are correct. They have the correct shift and should no longer be filtered. Most likely, this usually happens when there's at least two of these are incorrect. We made an error in our constant when generating. One of them was already correct and therefore was inverted. We will deduce that later if that happens to be the case. The way we will deduce that will come up when that happens, but right now we are going to take every other color that's incorrect and we're going to keep filtering it. So we're going to run red from green. Now, important note, we currently have red as our filter. If we XOR green, we end up with a filter of yellow, and we don't want that, so we're going to XOR with yellow to leave us with only green. So, we're going to XOR the first position with yellow, the third, fourth, and fifth position with yellow. And then we're going to go to answer and move it along. Black, RB, yellow, cyan. Oh yeah, cyan. Yeah. And then we're gonna do the same down here because we also have to do this down here because they are a representation of those colors. Move answers down here. Cyan, red, yellow, magenta, yellow, cyan, green, red, blue, yellow, blue, black. That's gonna give us blue, black, white, cyan, white, cyan. Take the constant, put it over check. Use the input as a set of strings. So you're going to use left, right, left. We're going to go left once. Yellow cancels out. Red, which means we're going to XOR all of these by red. Let's see if we have an incorrect constant. Surprisingly, no, we do not. Or I mean, it could still be incorrect. However, otherwise you just got lucky. But you see how both of these are still correct. Let's say, for the sake of it, that this thing was like still correct, like this. If you had a case like this, the way you would deduce it is you'd say, okay, let's find where this position was found the first time we found the answer. So basically, we're going to undo this final answer shift that we did. So for the final answer shift, we cycle left once. So I'm going to just put these right here. I'm going to put these number representations down here. And I'll put them up here. And then I'm going to unshuffle them. So the first way I'm going to unshuffle them is I'm going to move it left. That's the last thing we do. We moved it right. And then we inverted these last two ones. And we're going to find 5. 5 is here in the end. If you look at the filter for the first time we had these, what did not get filtered? Did we? Oh, here they both match. Here nothing was incorrect. I have to look here. So here, yellow and blue are the only one that's the same on both sides, which means it's 1 and 5, or positions 2 and 6 that weren't moved. So this and this were the incorrect positions, or the incorrect, I was saying incorrect because they were inverted, so correct positions, from last time. So since it was an error in our, what do you call it, our, and you see how this lines up. Because it is already confusing, right? But you see how these were not filtered. This is going from the XOR to the filter. These two were not filtered, which is the same as what you have 3 and 5. These represent these 3 and 5. This is how we move them. So we know that when we were removing the constant, yeah. So it's position, let's say position 5 here was the one that was fake. This would mean that the 6th position right here would be the one that's wrong, we would have to undecrypt the check here. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna encrypt it normally, and then we can see where that lands. So we take left once, and then we have black and white, which means we swap the halves, and then left once again. 5 is here at the end, which means that black here, if this position was falsely not correct, aka they were, if I move these down here, if this was the case where you see these two both match, if this was the case, I would have had to invert this position the constant. And when you change your constant, it's best to remove your filter entirely. Basically, XOR your filter with your current filter to get all blacks again, and then start over. That's a little confusing. I will go over it again when the time comes. I should not delete my filter there. Yeah, it's very confusing. It's just how you do it. I should stop talking. So filter. I think there's another incorrect one, by the way, that I forgot about. Cyan, yeah, the third one should not be filtered. So we're gonna change these to blue. So we're gonna take 1, 2, and 6 and XOR them with cyan to get from green to blue. So cyan, black. Move these over here. 1, 2, 3, 5. Magenta. Magenta is red first, so white, green. Then we're gonna take red, black, white, white. Wait a second. I'm gonna do this again. Red is 1, so we're gonna reverse the first half. Then we're gonna reverse or invert the second half, and we're gonna cycle left. Then we're gonna do the same over here. Cyan, green, red, black, white, green, black, magenta, 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 cyan, blue, green, blue, magenta, green, red. Yep. Constant. Cyan. And then we're gonna reverse. And then we're gonna extra this by yellow, because red and green. Yep, they still match. We still have nothing that has changed, so we're gonna change these to C. So we now XOR them with green, because we already have blue, and adding green makes it cyan. So we're gonna take and add green, green, and green. Answer, we're gonna take white, so B, C, R, W, Y. Answer, white, red, magenta, black, red, yellow. Black, white, green, green, black, green, white, cyan, white, green, red, red, constant. Movie over here. White, red, white, red, red, red. Magenta, cycle right. And then we're going to reverse the sequence. Here, W, M, R, R. And then we're going to do red twice, which means we already have our finale result. Wait, what? Oh, yellow, yellow. I'm supposed to invert everything. That's an important distinction. I missed that. Cyan, black, green, cyan, cyan. Okay, good. Yeah, makes sense. So now we're gonna take these and make them magenta. Get to cyan magenta, we have to do yellow. So yellow, yellow, and yellow. Then we're gonna do yellow, which is red and blue, red and green first. So we reverse and invert the first half, and then recycle right. I love having a dedicated key to fuck me over. Thank you, whoever made this Lifebook computer. So yeah, reverse the first half, cycle right. Take our answer, red, black, green, yellow, red, red. Yellow, yellow, black, cyan, white, magenta. And then we're going to green, yellow, green, magenta, cyan, blue. Mm. So, black means we're going to invert it. Red, K, R, M, W. Then we're going to invert it, and then green, red, which means we're going to do blue. Magenta, blue, magenta. Oh, magenta, and red, yellow. So, now we have two more correct colors. Only one more left. To get from magenta to yellow, we need to do cyan. So this one right here. Represent to get from magenta to cyan. Extra this by cyan just gives us yellow. Yep. We then take answer. And then we have the first one, I believe. Yep. Red is going to be that. Blue, yellow, red, and then cycle right. Then we're going to do the first. It's still important to reverse, even though it seemingly doesn't matter, because these things up here dictate your filter. If you lose the filter, you're gonna have to create it from scratch if you make the smallest mistake. Because if not, you can just like see what your filter is and what you have to like go for. So if you know there's a color that's none of, you don't have to try and carry that. So don't lose your filter. And then after that, we're gonna cycle right. Answer, yellow, green, yellow, green, blue, red. Cyan, magenta, black, red, red, green. That's gonna be magenta, white, yellow, yellow, magenta, yellow. Please don't do that. There's no movement. Yellow twice cancels out blue, red, which means you can do magenta, magenta, magenta. Okay. Yep. Which means this is white. So then to get from yeah, it was yellow before. Yeah, from get to yellow from white, we just have to XOR this by blue, which gives us red only. And then from here we have 1, 2, 3. we're gonna do green, which is reverse the second half, invert the first half. And then we're gonna cycle right. Yep, reverse second half. Cycle right. And then take this. And then after this, we should have our answer. So this should be our last query. Red, black, red, red, magenta, white. Black is all I have, so red, black, red, red, magenta, white. And then we're gonna take yellow twice, and then everything, which means we're just gonna invert it. Cyan, white, cyan, cyan, green, black. And see how nothing matches? It's almost like everything we have is correct. So now we're gonna skip the filter because we have the answer right here. We just need to do the final shift, which is it'll just black, which is gonna be RW like that. Then we'll do black, green, cyan, and then cycle right. This is our answer. Cyan, red, black, red, black, and then green. Yep. Oh. I will quickly boot up one that I know will give me one that has an incorrect constant, because I want to show you how you're gonna fix your constant. Because here, when we if I pull up the log, you see here the constant that we have matches with the you see constant is whatever it says down there. So since we had it easy, we didn't have to do anything. I'm quickly gonna boot up an example where that does happen. So I'll see you then. Okay, I am back.
Experts, please report to room A9.
Yeah. So I just had a little hiccup with an example that had too many incorrects and therefore became very convoluted to explain, so I'm doing it over. Because I typed in the missing seed wrong. Yep, this is the one that I wanted. So here, the last position of this is incorrect. This yellow is supposed to be a blue. How do I know this? Because I had this as a previous example, and mission seed, go burr. So, let's just treat it as a completely normal example. Answer GY, blue, green, magenta, cycle right. Magenta, blue, green, red, blue, green. Black, red, 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 black, cyan. Oh, it's this one, great. Magenta, magenta, yellow, black, blue, blue. Constant. Move that over here. We move this one to the right. And then blue cancels out, green cancels out. We extra this by red. Great, put this down here. Oh my god, we have 2 corrects already. How lucky. Moves those into the filter, makes all of these red. So that's gonna be blue, green, red, magenta. Answer.
Well, it was nice catching up.
GLaDOS. I do not give the care. We only have blue, so it's gonna
Emergency
be
cleared. All personnel,
MR.
please return to your stations.
Then we're gonna take cyan, yellow, green, magenta. And we're gonna do the same down here. And then cycle left. Answer down here. Blue, green, green, yellow, cyan, magenta. Ugh. Do. Be quiet, please. White, red, green, cyan, white. Cyan, those cancel out. Green cancel out. So that means blue and yellow. That's gonna be. We just have yellow. Like this. Now we go down here. And they appear to still be correct. However, everything else is not correct. So, we're just gonna keep trying down here because sometimes I think I had this as another example like last year. Was this one? No, it wasn't this one. Oh, I deleted it, I think. Oh, too bad. But yeah, otherwise I could see if I was on the right track or not because I think this happened. So filter, move this over here. We're gonna exit this by yellow. Green. Green means white, cyan, magenta, yellow, green. So right that and then green like that. Answer cyan, yellow, magenta, cyan, white, magenta. Yellow, cyan, yellow, blue, cyan. That's gonna be magenta. Yeah, this definitely happened. Then cyan, magenta, yellow. Yep, this happened. Check. Left, right. Left once, then white, then right. G, B, M. And then we're also gonna invert all the colors. So green, magenta, cyan, magenta, yellow, blue. Put this over here. And you see how the fifth position is incorrect. However, we did nothing. So this is because this last position is incorrect. We wouldn't know this. I only know this because I looked at the log when I did this yesterday. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, by logic, deduct this. So when was the time we found out that these were that we stopped filtering these? Well, we did that over here when we checked it. So let's find where these morphed into. So let's find the ones that did not get filtered. So let's take these and check which ones are correct. Like this. And then I'm gonna write this as 1, 2, or 1 and 5. They match down there. And then I'm gonna encrypt them like it did here. So blue, second half, and then we're gonna cycle left. And then we're green, which means we're gonna 5, 1, and cycle right. So the one that's incorrect is number 1. So the one in position 1 here is the one that's incorrect. So if you see we have XOR and check, this pair is incorrect. So how do we check that? Well, we take the constant right here, and I'm gonna write that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm gonna encrypt it like so. So we have magenta, that's cycle right, blue, green, nothing else, and you see how 6 matches up with here. This means the 6th position, aka the last position in our constant, was the one that's supposed to be inverted. If that was inverted, it would have given it would have made this first position look incorrect, had to be filtered, and made this not appear. That is very hard to explain, and you might not understand that. However, that is, without making it more convoluted, this is the easiest way I can explain it. By going back in time and seeing which one had to be it. Because you see, this one, which was the other one, is still correct. This one is not. We reverse it to see which of these two pairs is the one that's incorrect. We deducted that this is the one that's incorrect. And since we know it's not the XOR that's incorrect, because Simon does not lie, I mean, he's already lying, but he doesn't lie like that. That would be impossible. So we know it's the constant that's incorrect, and the constant, the position in the constant after modifying it, or this green one, which is, yeah, this yellow, cycle right, and then do the things appropriate to that, lands there, which means the 6th position in the constant is the one that is incorrect. So, I'm going to take this down here, and then I do this. I do this every time I make a modification to the constant, because it makes it easier for my brain to understand. I'm going to put the constant down here, but now with that in position inverted. So see how I fixed it? And now, instead of adding the filter, I'm going to reset the filter. By resetting the filter, I just XOR our current XOR with whatever we have here. So we don't XOR this, or yeah, we don't XOR this one. We XOR this one by green. So green and magenta, that's white. Green and cyan, that makes blue. Green and magenta makes white. This one is black. This is yellow, which makes red. Then all of these are now black now. And since we don't know if they're correct now, I'm going to remove this, completely resetting everything. Put over to answer. And this time we still follow, so I'm going to put a bar indicating where we start. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we jump down here to 4. So we're going to do cyan. We don't completely start over. We still do the inputs, like the amount of things we did. So cyan, that is red, being 0. Then I'm going to do green, black, yellow, and cycle right, or cycle left. Black, yellow, red, yellow, white, green. Red, magenta, cyan, blue, cyan, white. We should only have one correct answer here, because we ironed one out. Again, if we made a mistake, we would still only get one, or I mean, we might have gotten even 3 correct now, because now we made another mistake. However, if we made another mistake, it might show 1 being correct. However, that doesn't mean it's the only incorrection in the constant. So you will know if you made it worse or if you made it better. So red, cyan, white, white, red, magenta. Constant. We take black and white, which means I can just swap the halves. Yellow twice, red and green, so we do yellow. Oh, we only have 1 right. Who could have guessed? So now we're going to add red to all these, and right now it should just solve normally, because according to the log, this is correct. So if anything is wrong from here, that is my personal mistake. Alright. So XOR, we're going to filter these. So black, white, cyan, cyan, black. I have white, CK, white, black, red. Black, white, cyan, black, magenta, red. Blue, blue, cyan, yellow. I didn't see that. Blue, blue, cyan, yellow, white, blue. Blue, yellow, black, blue, green, magenta, constant. Black, white, swap the halves. Cyan is left. Then we're gonna do black, which is reverse, DRG, BBM. And then we're gonna cycle right once. And then we're gonna XOR these by red, blue, yellow, black, yellow, magenta. Oh, now we have another one that's correct. This one, because remember last time when we had red, there was no other correct ones. So this is probably the one that we fixed that's showing up here. We could calculate that if this is the correct position, but no way in hell I'm going to do that. So then we're going to try green. I think I remember no greens being correct, so actually, should I skip it? I'm not going to skip it. I'm certain that there's going to be no correct greens. I'm just going to test that theory out right here. So, red from green, I need to do yellow. Yep, they're green. Answer, we do red, so we do Y, W. Yellow, magenta, red, cycle right. Red, yellow, black, white, yellow, magenta. Red, black, blue, green, red, red. Black, yellow, blue, magenta, green, blue. There we go. Yellow, red, which means we're gonna just exit this by red. Black, yellow, blue, magenta, yellow. Yep, there was no greens correct. Why? Well, because I know that there was no correct reds, and we found a correct red anyways. Well, that means that the constant that we fixed was the red one. And therefore, since there's no correct greens, there's no possibility, unless my mistake, meaning that there could be a green correct one. That's a neat thing to know, if I do it again, which I probably won't. Then we're going to do blue, green, we do cyan, 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 and cyan. And then we're going to do red first, so I'm going to do green, cyan, blue, yellow, magenta, cycle right. Answer, yellow, green, green, magenta, cyan, blue, magenta. Red, white, cyan, cyan, white, cyan, green, magenta, yellow, black, yellow, yellow. Let's see. We have magenta, cyan, and magenta, which means we're gonna cycle right once, and then we're gonna do yellow, green, and blue. So we just do red. So magenta, yellow, black, yellow, blue. There's no blues either. Then we're gonna move over to the cyans. So RGB, CMY, W. To go from green to blue, or from green to cyan, we just have to add blue. So that's gonna be red, white, blue, white. Green. So green means we're gonna do Y, B, black, cyan, magenta, and we're gonna cycle right. Green, so second half here. Blue, magenta, cyan, black, yellow, white, magenta, blue, red, white, magenta, magenta. Red, red, white, white, cyan, green. So we're gonna take left, right, and then black, white. So we just do that. We have blue, so we're gonna do. We also have yellow, so we're gonna do yellow, 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 and yellow. No, I was inverting halfway through that. I'm probably gonna undo all of that. We're gonna do yellow, not invert. So yellow and green, that's red. That is cyan. Yellow, and that is gonna be white. That's red, that's green. Brain fart made me invert. They're still there? God damn, they really just don't want to be correct. Magenta. To go from cyan to magenta, we need to do yellow. Cyan. Cyan is. Let's see, so we're gonna do RB. And then we're gonna do magenta, cyan, yellow. Can you not do that? And then cycle left. Cyan, yellow, red, cyan, blue, magenta. Red, black, red, cyan, magenta, yellow. White, yellow, black, black, red, cyan. We're almost done. The pain is almost over. Let's see. Left, left, right. We're gonna go left once, and then we're gonna invert and do red, blue. Could you not? Which means we're just gonna do. Oh, I fucking hate. Thank you. Yellow, red, blue. That means we're gonna do green. Alright, now we have one more correct. So now we're going to make these yellow. And to get from magenta to yellow, we have to do cyan, cyan, cyan. Answer. Boo, 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 boo. Wait, do. We're gonna have another cyan, so okay. Black, green, red. Cycle left. Yeah, so we're gonna do this. RMY is going to be to YRM. Cycle left. Green, red. Black, red. Black. Blue, cyan, black, magenta, white, red. Cyan, white, black, blue, white, red. Black, boom. Then they're green and red, which is going to be yellow. Oh no, red twice, which means just do green. That's going to be cyan, white, black, yellow, black, cyan. Nope, they just don't want to be correct. So now, this should be the last. This should make them all correct. So, to get to yellow, you just need to XOR the first three by with blue, and they should all be correct. Green, yellow, and blue. So we do boom. Cyan, black. BR, cyan, black, yellow. Cycle right. Can you not? K. Cycle right. Answer yellow, green, yellow, blue, cyan, black. Cyan, black, cyan, yellow. Magenta, green, yellow, blue, black, yellow. So we're gonna do left and then invert, or reverse, BBMGRG. So after we have this, we have yellow twice, they cancel out. We have green and blue, which is gonna be cyan. Wait. Cyan. Cyan. I'm gonna do this over again because I keep triggering myself up. Left and black. Yep, left, BBMGRG. And then we're gonna do green and blue. We invert twice and doing things. So cyan, cyan. That's a little weird. Maybe we made an incorrect filter. So let's see what we filtered to get from. So here we should be at black. And here we should be making it red, green, blue, C, M, Y, W, and this is the result of the W. So here, it's just black. Here's the result of that black, and here's where we make it red. So yeah, we XORed with red. I can see that. From here, we had to do from red to green, so we did yellow. Blue plus yellow makes white, that is correct. And then from green, then we did cyan. We did cyan, yep. And to get from blue to cyan, we just did green. From magenta, and then green does not make red. Wait, what? Yellow and green. Here I exited with blue. Oh, I exited with blue here. So that means that this is black. This is red. This is white. And this is yellow. So here we're missing, we have R, G, B, C, and Y. We're missing cyan and magenta. So here I did a little bit of an oopsie by doing the wrong thing. However, it doesn't matter what the filter is, just as long as we stop the filter when it's correct. This is an important note because there's a lazy method in my older tutorial where you just brute force it. This is what happens. You just keep basically what you do is you keep inputting the same thing until it changes the filter to match with yours. So it's completely luck based, and yeah. So yeah, we're gonna make it to cyan and then magenta. To get from yellow to cyan, we need to XOR this magenta. So these should now be cyan. I'm not gonna bother fixing that. I just need a reference. So yeah, I need to get from yellow to cyan, and to do that, I need to do yellow. Wait. I'm yellow. Cyan meets magenta. Green magenta makes white. Green, yellow magenta makes cyan. Blue and magenta makes red. Good. Now we're gonna do. Now we're gonna do black again. R, Y. Blue, white, cyan, cycle right. Cyan, magenta, white, cyan, blue, white. C, G, R, Y, it's red. Black, magenta, and green. Magenta and green. That's white, cyan, magenta, red, cyan. Please, just let me get this over with. I don't want to think about this module anymore. Then we're going to do cyan, magenta, white, cyan. Then we're going to do left. And we're going to do white again. So G, B, R, M. And then we're going to XOR this blue. So we're going to get black, black. Blue, so black, cyan, magenta, cyan, red. Put this down here. None of them are correct. So now I'm gonna make this in 2 Magenta by taking cyan. I'm gonna extra this by yellow. Yes. I'm just gonna leave these as cyan as a marker because this is already fricked up and I can't be bothered to fix it. Yep. And if this doesn't work, then I made a greater mistake and I can't be bothered to fix that, and I'll just look at the log to prove that the 3 positions that are correct are correct. Alrighty. So, to get from cyan to magenta, I need to do yellow. Yep, so yellow, yellow, and yellow. Put these here, and then I'm gonna take cyan. Cyan is CRC, green, black, blue, and then left. Black, green, cyan, red, cyan, blue. Please, please. If I made another mistake, I just can't. This module hurts my brain. Yellow, green, that's blue, that's green, that's blue, that's yellow. Blue and cyan, that's green. Mm-mm-mm. Black and then left twice. BMG RGB. Left twice. Then RGB, so we're gonna invert this. Oh god, yeah, there's definitely at least one mistake in here. So we're gonna take we're gonna invert these because we have an R, G, and a B. So magenta, cyan, magenta, yellow, yellow, green. Cyan and blue. Green and yellow makes red. So at least here we had one more correct. But yeah, there was definitely a greater mistake made. So since that happened, I can show you that they would be correct. So I'm gonna move it over to answer, and I'm even gonna filter it. So boom, 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 boom. We're gonna do green. So B, G, magenta, cyan, magenta, and blue. RC. So this means BMCM should be the first 4 characters of the correct string, and then the other 2 should be incorrect. The next answer, BMCM. You see how that matches? And then YG. GY. That could be suspicious. That could be very suspicious. However, I cannot be bothered to go any further. I made a mistake. However, I did show you how to fix the string. I've been recording for way too long. I'm tired, and I need to do something else. So, yeah, this is how you do Simon Swindles. It's the module of all time. See ya.